Hello, my name is Dr. Tiffany Weaver, and I'm here at the Cumberland Valley Railroad Museum for the Cumberland County Historical Society's ABCs of History. We are letter C. We are really happy to be here today. Just for those of you who don't know, we are located at the corner of Earl and Fort Street in Shippensburg. And we've been here for about 2.5 years now. And so what I want to do today is just go over a couple of the artifacts that we have in our museum. I don't want to go over too many because I want you to come back and take a look at them for yourself. But this will just give you a taste of kind of what we have to offer. And then I'll talk a little bit about the rail trail and some of the things that we do over the course of the spring and the fall. So one of the first artifacts I'd like to show you comes from the Shippensburg Historical Society. This was a water fountain that was located at the Cumberland Valley Passenger Station in the early 1900s, and it is on loan from the Shippensburg Historical Society. I think it's one of the cooler pieces in the museum. Not only does it, show a piece of railroad history, but it's also kind of cool to see what water fountains look like, from the early 1900s. One of the other pieces that we also have in the museum is this electric brass coach light that has been fitted with electricity for the railroad cars when the cars had electricity. We're not sure exactly when the rewiring was done for the coach light, but it was at some point in the early 1920s, we believe. All right, if you want to follow me over here, one of our next pieces is this cool spike maul to lay some of the tracks for the Cumberland Valley Railroad Museum. One of the reasons why it's one of our favorite pieces here is it's actually the first artifact that we had donated to the museum back in 2018. So, it's one of our prize artifacts for us because it kind of started us off. Of course, the boxcar kind of started us off, but this artifact in particular kind of started our journey for us as we went along. So I want to go down here a little bit. Let's see. One of the other cool pieces we have is this toy boxcar and passenger car. This is another loan from the Shippensburg Historical Society. I think these are kind of particularly cool because they were built, for children to play with, for people to collect, and it just shows, how the Cumberland Valley Railroad and the Pennsylvania Railroad were so deeply ingrained into national society at the time. And these cars were not Lionel, but they were built to fit on the Lionel O gauge track. So they would have been compatible with Lionel trains. Our current temporary exhibit is on passenger service on the Pennsylvania and the Cumberland Valley Railroad. We currently have on display, on loan from a gentleman named Bob Smith in the community, a wonderful traveling trunk that was used for passenger service. One of the cool things about this trunk is that it has a sticker on it that it belonged to Ralph Hygas of the university. And so we know that it was used whenever he would travel to the university during the semesters. One of the more important aspects of the Cumberland Valley Railroad that we talk about here is in reference to the university. The university had its own station in front of the university. For students who were commuting, they could come back and forth during the day. They would use the train to get here to stay during the semester. And then a lot of the faculty and staff would use it as well. So it's really kind of a great resource for the university. It comes right down from the front of it. And we've got a lot of cool artifacts as a result of that. If we go around here to the front, you'll see our cool Atlantic City poster also in this case. A lot of times the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Cumberland Valley Railroad would run day trips to different places, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Atlantic City, for people to sightsee. They would leave in the morning. It says that you know, the fare was $6.90. You would get a trip to Atlantic City. You could spend the day there, and then you could come back to Shippensburg in the evening. So it was a pretty great deal for people. They got to explore the area a little bit. They'd go to Phillies games and Pirates games also, and just a variety of places around. One of the things that is very interesting about the Cumberland Valley Railroad is how it really opened up this area to tourism, and also you know, to people being able to travel to different places for work, or really just to sightsee. And then the last piece that I want to show you today, we're gonna switch sides here. And I don't know if you can see it this far up, but it is a ceramic jug of the Newville Station. One of the reasons why this place is so cool, or this piece is so cool, is that it's from 1992, and it commemorates Newville Station along the Cumberland Valley Railroad. When initially they were planning the railroad in the 1830s, they had left out Newville as a passenger station, but the citizens of Newville saw that they had the foresight to see that this was going to be such a huge impact on the region that they wanted kind of their piece of the pie. And so they asked the Cumberland Valley Railroad officials if they would put a station at Newville, and they told them that if they could raise $2,500, they would put a stop at Newville. Never expected them to be able to raise that much money. Newville could ended up raising that much money in not that long of a time at all, and they had their station. So again, Cumberland Valley Railroad was, you know, the first of its kind in the area, and the Newville residents knew that you know, this was something that they wanted in on, and so they got their piece of the pie and they got their station, and it kind of went from there. So this jug commemorates that, which I think is just kind of really cool. And then actually, while we are in this area, I'll just show you these car track automatic car identification panels. These came from the outside of the boxcar, on the original boxcar before it was all renovated. And they're a color-coded bar system that was used to identify track and rail cars across the country. And they are examples kind of the development of the modern barcode. So they're just kind of interesting pieces that came from the original boxcar before we refinished it, and that we still have here at the museum. So if you would like to visit us, we would be happy to have you come down. We're open 7 days a week. We are a self-guided museum, so you can come in. We're open dusk to dawn, or dawn to dusk, and you can come in, take a look around at what we have, and kind of explore everything. We do ask that you social distance while you're here, and you do wear your mask when you're in the building. And we also like to hold events. When you get here, there's a parking lot, and during First Fridays in Shippensburg, starting in April, we will be holding events there. We'll have food trucks, alcohol vendors, live music. It'll be always a really fun time. This year we're gonna have the farm show milkshake truck at a couple of our events. So take a look on our Facebook page at shippensburgstation.com, or Shippensburg Station, or you can take a look at the Cumberland Valley Rail Trail website. We can find more information about our First Friday events. But thank you all so much for joining us here this morning. I hope you have enough time to come out and see us. And yeah, see ya.